Hello friends, myself Dr. Nandakumar Rao Bawale from College of Engineering Ambazogai is going to deal with Applied Thermodynamics 1. This is our 7th lecture on Applied Thermodynamics 1. In previous lecture, we have discussed over the numericals to find the equivalent evaporation, boiler efficiency, heat supplied by a superheater and heat balance sheet. Today we will be discussing one more problem, numerical, on heat balance sheet. Problem is like this. Following data was collected during a boiler trial for 1 hour. Duration is 1 hour. Trial was conducted for 1 hour. The steam generated is 5000 kg in 1 hour. That is mass of steam generated. It's given here 5000 kg per hour, we can say. The pressure of steam is 10 bar, and specifically he is going to mention it is a gauge pressure. So this is not absolute pressure, this is gauge pressure, P gauge. Gauge pressure is given. Find the quality of steam delivered by boiler. Steam is passed through a throttling calorimeter. Again, in order to know the quality dryness fraction of a steam is initially wet, it is passed through throttling calorimeter and the following readings were recorded. So the pressure of steam is 30.5 mm of Hg above barometric reading, and temperature of steam is 110 degrees Celsius and barometric reading is 73.5 centimeters of Hg. So these are the values or the properties of steam after throttling. The pressure of steam is 30.5 mm of Hg above barometric pressure. This is a gauge pressure of steam after passing through the throttling calorimeter. At the outlet of throttling calorimeter, gauge pressure of steam is 30.5 mm of Hg. And the temperature of steam is going to become a superheated steam, and temperature of steam after throttling is 110 degrees Celsius, whereas barometric reading, in the sense the atmospheric pressure, is 73.5 centimeters of Hg. Then specific heat of superheated steam, CPS, specific heat at constant pressure, so that is given as 2.1 kilojoules per kg degree Kelvin. Then feed water temperature, TF, temperature of feed water, is given as 60 degrees Celsius. The temperature of steam leaving the superheater. When steam is passed through the superheater, it becomes superheated steam, and temperature of superheated steam, that is T-sup. Temperature of superheated steam is 203 degrees Celsius. Coal fired, amount of fuel burned is 460 kg in 1 hour, that is 460 kg per hour. Mass of fuel burned is 460 kg. Also, it is given that higher calorific value of fuel used is 40,000 kilojoules per kg, and the flue gas temperature, so this is calorific value CV of fuel, and flue gases which are coming out of this combustion and discharged into the atmosphere are discharged at 260 degrees Celsius. That is the temperature of gas, Tg, is 260 degrees Celsius, and temperature of boiler house, Tb, is 30 degrees Celsius. After that, ultimate analysis of dry coal. When coal is dry, analysis is made. So carbon percentage by mass is 82% in the coal, and hydrogen is 14% and ash is 4%. So when coal was dry, analysis made shows that 82% is the carbon, 14% is hydrogen, and 4% is ash. So here dry coal plays very important role. Then volumetric analysis of flue gases. So gases which are exhausted into atmosphere are analyzed on volumetric basis using Orsat apparatus is given below. So this analysis is made on the basis of volume. So carbon dioxide liberated is 12%, whereas carbon monoxide is 1.5% by volume. The presence of carbon monoxide indicates that the combustion of fuel is incomplete, and oxygen percentage is 7% in the flue gases, nitrogen is 79.5%, and specific heat of hot gases liberated into the atmosphere at constant pressure is 1 kilojoules per kg degree Celsius. Then the partial pressure of steam going with the flue gases. So steam is mixed with the flue gases. So steam is produced by combustion of fuel, that is hydrogen present in the fuel. So hydrogen is present and combustion of hydrogen produces steam, and that steam gets mixed with the flue gases. So therefore the flue gas which contains steam partial pressure is given as 0.07 bar. The fuel contained 5% of moisture at the time of feeding in the boiler. So fuel also contains some part of moisture, that is 5%. Mass of moisture is 5%. Draw heat balance sheet on the basis of 1 kg of coal, wet coal. So here analysis is given on the basis of dry coal, but he is asking us to find out the analysis based on wet coal. Also find heat absorbed by steam in the superheater per minute. Heat absorbed by steam in the superheater per minute. This is nothing but one more additional data we have to find out. So we will write this data in the tabular form, what is given, what we want to find out, and then which kind of formula we need to solve this problem, that we will discuss. So here it is given mass of steam produced is 5000 kg per hour, mass of fuel burned is 460 kg per hour, temperature of feed water is 60 degrees Celsius, temperature of superheated steam is 203 degrees Celsius, and the pressure of steam before entering into the throttling calorimeter is 10 bar gauge pressure. This is gauge pressure. Then calorific value of fuel is 40,000 kilojoules per kg. Temperature of hot gases liberated is 260 degrees Celsius, and boiler house temperature is 30 degrees Celsius. Atmospheric pressure is given, and that is 73.6 centimeters of Hg. Then specific heat of hot gases CPG is 1 kilojoule per kg degree Kelvin. Then specific heat of steam at constant pressure is 2.1 kilojoules per kg degree Kelvin, and after throttling steam becomes superheated, that is temperature of superheated steam after throttling is 110 degrees Celsius, and the pressure of steam after throttling is gauge pressure is 30.5 centimeters of Hg above atmosphere. Then composition of fuel by mass is also given. So 82% is carbon, that means 0.82 kg per kg of fuel. If we are going to burn 1 kg of fuel, that contains only 0.82 kg of carbon, and if we burn 1 kg of fuel, it contains 40% of hydrogen, means 0.14 kg per kg of fuel is hydrogen, and ash contained in the fuel is 4%, means 0.004 kg of ash is present in 1 kg of fuel, and then mass of moisture is 5%. So this analysis, this information up till this, it is given on the basis of dry coal. This is the analysis of dry coal, and when it is wet, it contains 5% of moisture. Then the analysis of flue gases is also made, which are coming out of this combustion It contains 1.5% carbon monoxide, 12% carbon dioxide, 7% oxygen, and 79.5% nitrogen by volume. Then steam partial pressure is 0.07 bar. So when the steam is present in the flue gases, which is present in the flue gases because of conversion of hydrogen into water as well as evaporation of moisture present in the fuel. So two sources are there to add the vapor in the flue gases. One is combustion of hydrogen and another is nothing but the evaporation of moisture present. Then he is asking us to find out heat balance sheet. So in case of heat balance sheet, we have to find out amount of heat supplied by combustion of fuel. Then Q1 is the amount of heat utilized for generation of steam. Then Q2 is nothing but amount of heat moving along with the hot gases. Then Q3 is nothing but mass of fuel unburned, and Q4 is nothing but unaccounted heat. So this is we have to find out. Sorry, Q4 is the amount of heat carried by steam along with it in the flue gases, and Q5 is unaccounted heat. So in order to solve this, what we have to do very first. So first we have to find out amount of heat supplied QS. So QS is nothing but amount of heat supplied, that is by the combustion of fuel. So QS can be obtained by formula QS is equal to 1 minus mm into CV. 1 minus mm, say for example, if we are going to burn 1 kg of fuel, so it contains 0.05% of mass of moisture. That is nothing but only 0.95% is the fuel, or 0.95 kg. Actually we are going to burn 1 kg of fuel, but that fuel contains only 0.95 kg of original fuel and 0.05 kg is the moisture. So into calorific value gives us the amount of heat liberated by combustion of 1 kg of fuel. So this is one. Then Q1 is nothing but amount of heat carried by the steam. So mass of steam produced into enthalpy of superheated steam minus enthalpy of feed water. So amount of heat obtained by water is calculated with the difference of enthalpy, that is steam coming out is superheated steam, amount of heat energy that superheated steam is carrying and amount of heat energy entering with the feed water. That difference gives us the amount of heat added per kg of fuel in the boiler. So into mass of steam generated gives us the amount of heat absorbed by fuel in the mass of amount of heat absorbed by water to convert it into steam. Then Q2 is nothing but amount of heat carried by hot gases into the atmosphere. So that is nothing but mCp delta T. mCp delta T, where m is mass of hot gases, that is represented by mg. Cp is nothing but specific heat of gases, which is represented by Cpg. Delta T is nothing but difference of temperature difference of hot gases and ambient air. So this gives us amount of heat carried by hot gases. But here mass of gas we have to obtain. Mass of gas, flue gas produced by combustion of 1 kg of fuel, we have to obtain first. So mass of gas is nothing but sum of mass of air plus the mass of carbon which is burned in the fuel. So mass of air plus 1 minus mm is mass of moisture. So if we are going to burn 1 kg of fuel, only 0.95 kg of fuel is going to be burned because there is 5% of moisture. So here mass of moisture is subtracted into mass of carbon in a fuel, then we get mass of gas, and this mass of gas we have to substitute in this above equation. But here mass of air we have to calculate. Mass of air is given by N into C into 1 minus mm divided by 33 into CO plus CO2. This formula how we get, we will be discussing it in the chapter combustion of fuel. So there we will discuss how we get this formula. Then Q3 is nothing but amount of heat carried by steam in the flue gases. So amount of heat carried by flue gases, steam in the flue gases. So enthalpy of steam in the flue gases minus enthalpy of feed water at boiler house temperature, we have to find out. So here ms1 is the mass of steam. So mass of steam is produced, or steam is present in the flue gases by two sources. One is presence of hydrogen, the conversion of hydrogen into water that adds, and the mass of moisture which is present in the fuel. So both collectively we get as ms1, and this ms1 we substitute here, and hg1 and hf1 we can obtain from steam tables. So hg1 is at 0.07 bar. The steam is assumed to be superheated. Hg plus cps T sup minus ts at 0.07 bar we have to find out. And then hf1 is nothing but enthalpy of water at boiler house temperature, that we have to find out. So when we subtract this difference, we get hg1 minus hf1, and if we multiply it with the mass of steam moving in the flue gases, we can find out heat carried by steam in the flue gases. Then Q4 is nothing but the amount of fuel which is unburned and is going to remain without burning, and because of that some amount of heat is lost. So how much of fuel is unburned, that we have to calculate, and from that we can get this amount of heat loss because of unburned fuel. So mass of unburned fuel is equal to CO divided by CO plus CO2 into 1 minus ash into carbon. So here incomplete combustion, this is for incomplete combustion. Instead of burning fuel into carbon dioxide, if it burns into carbon monoxide, there is a loss of heat energy. So how much amount of heat energy is lost? The presence of carbon monoxide tells us that the combustion of fuel is incomplete. We can see here presence of carbon monoxide is 1.5%. that gives us the hint about incomplete combustion. Then how much of mass of fuel is going to burn incompletely, so that we have to find out by using this formula. mf1 is equal to CO divided by CO plus CO2 into 1 minus ash. 1 minus ash, if we burn 1 kg of fuel, that contains again here 4% of ash. Means if we burn 1 kg of fuel, completely dry fuel, then we are going to get 0.96 kg of fuel is actually burned, because 4% is ash. So here ash percentage is subtracted, and here CO2 calorific value when it burns to CO2, and calorific value when it burns to carbon monoxide. So this difference, if it burns carbon, if carbon is burned to carbon dioxide, then calorific value of carbon is 35,700, and if it burns to carbon monoxide, it is less, 10,000 something is the calorific value of carbon if it burns to carbon monoxide. So this gives us heat loss because of incomplete combustion. So Q4 is obtained here, and after that using this Q5 is equal to amount of heat produced minus amount of heats utilized as Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4, which we have calculated, and from this we can find out which is unaccounted heat. One more thing before this, to find out enthalpy of superheated steam, enthalpy of feed water, so we need dryness fraction of steam. To find out dryness fraction of steam, we have to go for the calculations of throttling and separating calorimeter or throttling calorimeter. So dryness fraction has to be obtained. So in order to obtain dryness fraction, we must know pressure before throttling, pressure after throttling. So pressures are given in gauge pressure or centimeters of AHG, so that is to be converted into bar, and after converting pressures into bar, we can go for finding dryness fraction. So again, to find out feed water enthalpy, we can use this formula Cp into delta T. Enthalpy of wet steam is given by this formula, enthalpy of superheated steam is given by this formula. Then mass of steam produced per kg of fuel is nothing but ms divided by mf. This we can calculate. So now we will start to solve this problem. So atmospheric pressure is given in bar. Atmospheric pressure which is given in centimeters of Hg. So here we have to convert this atmospheric pressure into bar. So atmospheric pressure, when we want to convert into bar, so formula for converting atmospheric pressure into bar is rho gh. So this will be in Newton per meter square if we consider rho gh. If h is in meters, g is in Newton per second square, Newton per second square, then rho is in kg, density is in kg per meter cube. Then we get this in Newton per meter square. So rho is 13,600 into G is 9.81 into H, the atmospheric pressure which is given in 73.5 centimeters of Hg. So this, if we convert in meter, this becomes 0.735 into 10 to the power of minus 5 bar. So if we simplify this, we'll get atmospheric pressure as 0.98 bar. So this is atmospheric pressure which we are going to get, P atmospheric. Then pressure before throttling we have to find out. Already gauge pressure is given. The gauge pressure which is given in problem is, if we see gauge pressure 10 bar, gauge pressure is 10 bar, 10 plus 0.98, so this works out to be 10.98 bar. So this is the pressure of steam, absolute pressure of steam before throttling. This is absolute pressure of steam before throttling. Then pressure after throttling is also given in this problem. Pressure after throttling which is given here is 30.5 centimeters of Hg above atmosphere. So gauge pressure is given 30.5 centimeters of Hg, 30.5 centimeters of Hg plus atmospheric pressure is 73.5. If we add this, we'll get, this is 30.5 mm of Hg. This is not 30.5 centimeters of Hg, it is 30.5 mm of Hg. That means 3.05 centimeters of Hg. If we add this, this will be 76.55 centimeters of Hg. centimeters of Hg. Now this pressure we have to convert into bar. The pressure before throttling is 10.98 bar, 10.98 bar, and this pressure after throttling is 76.55 centimeters of Hg. To find out properties of steam, we need pressures in bar. Therefore, so this is to be converted into bar. So density pressure after throttling is equal to rho gh. Again same formula. Rho value is 13,600 into G value is 9.81 into H value. Here this is in centimeter. If we convert it in meter, it will be 0.7655 meters of Hg. So 0.7655 meters of Hg, this is not required, into 10 to the power of minus 5. So if we simplify this, we get it as 1.021 bar. So both pressures we have converted into bar. Before throttling it is 10.98 bar, after throttling it is 1.021 bar. Now coming to this throttling calorimeter, enthalpy before throttling is equal to enthalpy after throttling. When steam is passed through the throttling, enthalpy remains unchanged. So what kind of changes will happen if steam is passed through the nozzle or throttling device? Enthalpy remains same, but pressure gets reduced. Before throttling pressure is higher and pressure after throttling is smaller, and quality of steam gets improved. If it is wet steam, after throttling it may become dry, saturated or superheated steam. So here already it is specified in this problem that the temperature of steam is 110 degrees Celsius, which is given here. Temperature of steam is 110 degrees Celsius. That means steam becomes superheated after throttling. So to find out dryness fraction, enthalpy before throttling, it is assumed that steam is wet. Before throttling steam is wet, and after throttling steam is superheated. Steam after throttling is superheated. To find out enthalpy of wet steam, we use formula HF plus XHFG, where X is the dryness fraction, HF is the enthalpy of saturated liquid, and Hg is latent heat of vaporization at pressure 10.98 bar, because steam enters at 10.98 bar into the throttling calorimeter. When steam comes out, it has got a pressure of 1.021 bar. So to find out enthalpy of superheated steam, we use this formula HF plus HFG plus CPS into T sup minus Ts, where HF is the enthalpy of saturated liquid, HFG is latent heat of vaporization, CPS is the specific heat of steam at constant pressure, T sup is temperature of superheated steam, and Ts is saturation temperature. So this saturation temperature is obtained from steam table. So now from steam table at 10.98 bar, enthalpy of saturated liquid is 781.12 kilojoules per kg. Enthalpy of vaporization or latent heat of vaporization is 1998.5 kilojoules per kg, and at pressure 1.021 bar after throttling, enthalpy of liquid, saturated liquid, is 417.51 kilojoules per kg. Latent heat of vaporization is 2257.9 kilojoules per kg, and saturation temperature is 99.63. So this is the data which we have taken from steam table at pressure 10.98 bar, and this is at pressure 1.021 bar. So substituting these values in the above formula, HF value is 417, before throttling it is 781.12 plus dryness fraction value X we don't know, into HFG is 98.5 is equal to enthalpy after throttling. HF is nothing but 417.51 plus HFG is 2257.9 plus specific heat steam is 2.1 CPS. T sub temperature of superheated steam, already it is given as 110 degrees Celsius in the problem. 110 degrees Celsius minus T saturation we have taken here 99.63. 99.63. On simplification we get dryness fraction of this steam as 0.95. so we'll get 0.95 as the dryness fraction. So only unknown is x. So if we simplify left hand side and right hand side of this above equation, then we get dryness fraction x is equal to 0.95. So once we know dryness fraction, we can find out enthalpy of wet steam, we can find out enthalpy of superheated steam, and then we can find out enthalpy of feed water. Now we will calculate enthalpy of feed water, enthalpy of wet steam, enthalpy of superheated steam, because we know dryness fraction now. So now enthalpy of feed water, which is given by Cp delta T, specific heat of water, which is known to us, that is 4.2. even if it is given or not in the problem, that doesn't matter. We remember that 4.2 is specific heat of water into temperature of feed water, which is given in the problem. You can see here temperature of feed water is 60 degrees Celsius. 60 minus of 0, T0 is 0. So on calculation this we get here as 252 kilojoules per kg. 252 kilojoules per kg of fuel, then per kg of steam. Enthalpy of wet steam we can find out. HF value already we have seen at 10.98 bar, 781.12. 781.12 plus dryness fraction value is 0.95, just now we have calculated, into HFG, enthalpy of the latent heat of vaporization is 1998.5. 1998.5. So on simplification, steam enthalpy of wet steam we can find out as 2679. 2679.69 kilojoules per kg. And after that we have to find out enthalpy of superheated steam. So enthalpy of superheated steam. So this enthalpy of superheated steam is not after throttling. This is the enthalpy of superheated steam leaving the superheater. So HF, this we have to take not at 1.02 bar. So this has to be taken at the pressure of 10.98 bar itself when steam becomes superheated. So HF again here we can write it as 781.12. So earlier enthalpy of superheated steam which we have obtained here, so this part is for throttling calorimeter and this is not for throttling calorimeter. When steam comes out of the boiler in the form of superheated steam, then we can use this formula, that is 1998.5 plus specific heat of steam is 2.1 into temperature of superheated steam, that is steam coming out of the boiler is at 203 degrees Celsius, minus saturation temperature is 184.07. So this data we have to take from steam table. Saturation temperature at pressure of 10.98 bar. So this 10.98 bar. So temperature of saturation, which was not written here, temperature of saturation is 184.07. 184.07 degree Celsius is saturation temperature. So this data is used here to find out enthalpy of superheated steam which is coming out of the boiler. So 184.07. On simplification, we get enthalpy of superheated steam as 2819.37 kilojoules per kg. Then mass of steam generated per kg of fuel burned. Mass of steam produced is 5000 kg per hour, whereas mass of fuel burned, which is given in the problem as 460 kg. On simplification, we get it as 10.869 kg of steam per kg of fuel. So this is nothing but mass of steam produced per kg of fuel. Now we will move to the heat balance sheet. So amount of heat generated per kg of coal. So 1 kg of coal, if we burn, how much amount of heat energy is liberated? Content of dry coal into calorific value. So calorific value of fuel is given as 40,000. So 1 kg of fuel contains 5% of moisture. So 95% is the actual fuel and 5% is the moisture. Therefore 1 minus 0.05 mass of moisture is 0.05. If we are going to burn 1 kg, then that 0.05 kg is the moisture into calorific value is 40,000. If calorific value is 40,000, we get this as 38,000 kilojoules of heat is liberated per kg of fuel. If we burn 1 kg of fuel, 38,000 kilojoules of heat energy will be liberated. However, whatsoever may be the calorific value, but it contains mass of moisture in the fuel. Therefore 38,000 kilojoules of energy is liberated by combustion of fuel. If it is a dry fuel, then it liberates 40,000. So question is here, fuel burned is not dry fuel. Calorific value is given for dry fuel, whereas fuel burned is not dry fuel, it is wet fuel. So here it is specified in the problem itself. You can see here the draw heat balance sheet on the basis of 1 kg of coal fed, and that is written here wet coal, whereas while giving calorific value, the higher calorific value of coal used is 40,000 kilojoules. So here the analysis of fuel, ultimate analysis of dry coal is given. So this analysis is based on dry coal, whereas fuel burned is a wet coal. So therefore here we must subtract mass of moisture 0.05, and for rest of the 0.95 kg of fuel we have to find out actual calorific value of fuel. So if it is burned in dry form, then it will liberate required calorific value or amount of heat energy. Now heat which is generated is used to form the steam. So heat absorbed by steam is nothing but the enthalpy of superheated steam. Steam is coming out in the form of superheated steam, and while entering into the boiler, it enters as a feed water. So enthalpy of feed water is the initial energy it carries into the boiler, and this is the final energy that it carries coming outside the boiler. Therefore, mass of steam generated, which is known to us, is 10.869 kg of steam is produced per kg of fuel. Here this we have calculated 10.869 into enthalpy of superheated steam we have calculated here as 2891.37 2819.37 minus enthalpy of feed water. Enthalpy of feed water also we have calculated as 252 kilojoules per kg. 252 kilojoules per kg. On simplification, we get this as 27877 27877.6 kilojoules of heat energy is absorbed per kg of steam. So this is how we calculated the amount of heat energy used by steam per kg of fuel burnt. Now heat carried by flue gases. So heat carried by flue gases is given by mCp delta T. So mCp delta T. So where m is nothing but mass of gas, Cp is specific heat of gas at constant pressure, delta T is nothing but temperature of gas minus temperature of ambient air. So here what we know specific heat of gas, which is given in the problem. Tg, temperature of gas, is known. Ambient air temperature is also known. Ambient air temperature is considered as boiler house temperature. Now we have to find out mass of gas liberated. Mass of gas liberated is nothing but the sum of mass of air plus mass of carbon in the fuel burned. So complete fuel is not containing carbon, so 1 minus of mass of moisture has to be liberated, it has to be subtracted. Therefore mass of air we have to calculate first, then mass of air. To calculate mass of air we have to use this formula, N into C into 1 minus divided by 33 into CO plus CO2. So how we get this formula, we will be discussing it in detail in the chapter combustion of fuel. So here, so first of all we have to find out mass of air to substitute it in this above equation. So N, percentage of nitrogen, which is given as 79.5 in this problem. So percentage of nitrogen in the flue gases is 79.5, and percentage of carbon in the fuel is 82%. 1 minus mass of moisture is 0.05 divided by 33 as it is into CO plus CO2. Carbon monoxide is 1.5% plus carbon dioxide is 12%. On simplification we get mass of air as 13.9 kg per kg of coal. If we burn 1 kg of coal, so mass of air required is 13.9 kg. So once we know mass of air, so mass of gas can be calculated. 13.9 is the mass of air plus 1 minus 0.05 is the mass of moisture into percentage of carbon in the fuel is known to us. So that is 0.82. So here it is 0.82. If we burn 1 kg of fuel, then we will have 0.82 kg of carbon. So therefore, on simplification, mass of hot gases produced by combustion will be 14.67 kg of hot gases of flue gases per kg of fuel burned are produced. 14.67 kg of flue gases per kg of fuel burned are produced. Now we know mass of gases, so we can come to this equation. Mass of gas is known, that is 14.67 into specific heat of gases, which is specified in this problem itself as 1 into temperature of hot gases Tg. The flue gases are coming out at 260 degrees Celsius minus 30 degrees Celsius is ambient temperature. So if we find out Q2 is equal to amount of heat carried by hot gases along with it in the atmosphere is 3376.3 kilojoules per kg. So this is amount of heat carried Q2 by flue gases. The first one is amount of heat utilized to generate steam, which we have calculated here, 27,877. Amount of heat supplied is 38,000 kilojoules per kg of fuel. This is first part which is utilized. This is second part which is carried by hot gases. Then third, heat carried by moisture. So mass of moisture present in the flue gases ms1, then enthalpy of flue gases enthalpy of steam in the flue gases hg1, and hf1 is the enthalpy of water at boiler house temperature. So there are two sources of water, presence of steam in the flue gases. One is the mass of moisture due to combustion of hydrogen. So hydrogen is present in the fuel, and that presence of hydrogen is converted into water, and that water gets evaporated and forms the steam, and that steam moves along with the flue gases, carries heat. And then second is mass of moisture in the fuel. Already 5% is the water or moisture in the fuel, and that gets evaporated and that mixes with the flue gases. So mass of moisture due to combustion of hydrogen is obtained here. So in previous problem we had seen formula as H2, percentage of H2 into 9 directly, and we obtained the mass of moisture. But here there is presence of mass of moisture in the fuel. Therefore if we burn 1 kg of fuel, only 0.95 kg is the what you say fuel, and rest of the thing is 0.05 kg is the water. Therefore we have to find out this as 1 minus 0.05 is the fuel into percentage of hydrogen. H2 percentage is given as 14%. So 14 divided by 100 or 0.14 we can write. So this we have to write down. So this percentage of H2, which is given 14%, but it is not 14%. If it is a dry fuel, then it will be 14%, but it is a wet fuel, therefore it gets reduced. So by 0.95 if we multiply, we get percentage of hydrogen into 9 as it is. So here we get this as 1.2 kg, sorry, so this we have to calculate, and after this instead of calculating here, we will substitute it here itself again. So 1 minus 0.05 into 14 by 100 into 9 plus mass of moisture is 0.05. So altogether we calculate it as 1.24 7 mass of moisture is known 0.05, so that we have added to this. So total moisture present in this fuel is 1.2, sorry, flue gases is 1.247 kg per kg of fuel burned. So if you burn 1 kg of fuel, the moisture present in the flue gases is 1.24 kg. So now we can substitute it here. Mass of moisture produced, ms1, is known to us now. So now remaining two things we have to find out, hg1 and hf1. So that we will find out, and then afterwards we will come back to this equation and we will substitute these values in this equation. So now from steam table at 0.07 bar, so what is given in problem itself? The partial pressure of steam in the flue gases. Partial pressure of steam present in the flue gases is 0.07, means the steam which is going along with the flue gases is at partial pressure of 0.07 bar. So at 0.07 bar we obtain the enthalpy of saturated liquid, then enthalpy of evaporation or latent heat of evaporation, saturation temperature. So it is assumed that the steam which is moving along with the hot gases is superheated because the temperature of gas is 260 degrees Celsius. Therefore, enthalpy of steam present in hot gases is given by HF plus HFG, so CPS into T sup minus PS. So HF at pressure 0.07 bar is 163.4 plus HFG is 2409.3 kilojoules plus CPS, specific heat of steam, is 2.1 into temperature of superheated steam, temperature of hot gases, temperature of hot gases is 260 degrees Celsius, which is given in the problem, minus saturation temperature is 39.03 at pressure of 0.07 bar, and on simplification Hg1 we get as 3036.73 kilojoules per kg of fuel. So now enthalpy of water when it is produced in the combustion chamber is obtained by this CPW into delta T. Specific heat of water is 4.1 into this, we can obtain as boiler house temperature. Boiler house temperature is given as, just we will see how much is the boiler house temperature, 60 degrees Celsius I think. Boiler house temperature, boiler house temperature is 30 degrees Celsius. Minus 0, so this works out to be 0.312, 123 kilojoules per kg, 123 kilojoules per kg. Now we can find out heat carried by moisture, mass of steam moving along with the flue gases, just we calculated on the previous slide, that is 1.247 into Hg1, which we have calculated is 3036.73 minus HF1 is 123.0. On simplification we get Q3 as 3632 kilojoules per kg. So this is third amount of heat carried by moisture in the flue gases. Then heat loss due to incomplete combustion. So instead of burning fuel into carbon dioxide, if it burns into carbon monoxide, then heat is lost due to incomplete combustion. So mass of fuel which is burned into incomplete combustion is MF1, and if the carbon is burned into carbon dioxide, it liberates 35,700 kilojoules of heat energy, and if it burns to carbon monoxide, then it liberates 10,250 kilojoules of heat energy. Therefore, some amount of heat energy is lost. So first of all, we have to find out mass of fuel burned incompletely. So here, mass of fuel burned incompletely, we can find out carbon monoxide, presence of carbon monoxide is 1.5 divided by CO is 1.5 and carbon dioxide is, I think it is 12% into 1 minus ash. So ash percentage is 4%, means 0.04 into carbon percentage is 82 in the fuel, means 0.82. On calculation or further simplification, we get this as 0.087 kg of fuel per kg of fuel burned is incompletely burned. So therefore, this Q4 can be obtained. Mass of fuel incompletely burned is 0.087 kg per kg of fuel into calorific value of fuel if it is burned completely, sorry, not calorific value of fuel, it is calorific value of carbon, only carbon. If it is carbon, then it liberates 35,700. So this is not given in the problem, but we have to remember 35,700 kilojoules per kilojoules of heat energy is liberated by complete combustion of carbon into carbon dioxide. And if it burn into carbon monoxide, then calorific value gets reduced, and its calorific value is 10,250 kilojoules. 10,250 kilojoules of energy is liberated only. Therefore, the total loss here we obtain is 2,226.5 kilojoules per kg of fuel. So this much amount of heat energy is lost due to incomplete combustion. If it burns completely into carbon monoxide, then we can get more energy. Now, heat lost by convection is obtained by Q5 is equal to, so this is amount of heat supplied and this is amount of heat utilized to generate steam. This is amount of heat carried by hot gases. Then this is amount of heat carried by moisture present in the fuel and steam produced, and this is the amount of heat lost due to incomplete combustion. Q4 is amount of heat lost due to incomplete combustion. So this is carried by steam, this is carried by gases, this is carried by steam in the flue gases, and this is heat loss due to incomplete combustion, and this is amount of heat supplied. So how much is the amount of heat unaccounted? So Q5 is amount of heat unaccounted. So QS is amount of heat supplied is 38,000 kilojoules per kg of fuel that we have calculated. You can see here. So this is 38,000, QS is 38,000, and Q1 is 27,877.6, 27,877.6 minus 27,877.6 plus Q2 amount of heat. This is the amount of heat taken by steam, then amount of heat carried along with the flue gases. Q2 3,376.3, 3,376, 3,376.3. Then Q3 is amount of heat carried by moisture or steam in the flue gases. So Q3 is here 3,632.06. 3632.06 plus amount of heat loss due to incomplete combustion, just we have calculated it here, 2226.5 kilojoules. On simplification, we get amount of heat which is unaccounted heat is 877 or 887.54 kilojoules per kg. So this much amount of heat is not accounted, or there is no account, which means it is lost by convection and radiation. The heat absorbed in superheater per minute. So we know enthalpy of superheated steam, enthalpy of wet steam. When steam enters into the superheater, it is wet. When it comes out of the superheater, it is superheated steam. This difference gives us amount of heat energy added in the superheater. So enthalpy of superheated steam, just which we have calculated as H soup. H soup is 2819.37. 2819.37 minus of enthalpy of wet steam is 2679. Enthalpy of wet steam is 2679.69. 2679.69. Two six 79.69. So this is nothing but 139.68 kilojoules per kg of steam. If 1 kg of steam is passed, then 139.68 kilojoules of heat energy is absorbed in the superheater. So here Q we know 139.68 into mass of steam, which is 5000 kg per hour, divided by 60, it gives us per minute. So on simplification, this will be 11,640 kilojoules per minute. How we get this? We can see. So 13 point enthalpy is in kilojoules, 139. So it is in kilojoules per kg. And steam produced is 5000 kg per hour. So kg per hour. Kg per hour, kg gets cancelled. Kilojoules per hour is going to remain. If we multiply this hour by 60, it gets converted into minute. So therefore unit is kilojoules per minute. So 11,640 kilojoules per minute is the amount of heat added per minute in the superheater. Now coming to this heat balance sheet, the amount of heat supplied is 38,000 kilojoules of heat energy is added per kg of fuel burned. So this is 100% which is supplied and that is used as Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4 and Q5 in various cases. So Q1 amount of heat energy is taken by steam. So steam utilizes Q1 amount of heat energy. Therefore, the Q1 value we know, that is 27,877.6 divided by heat supplied is 38,000 into 100. which is equal to 73.36% of heat. Out of this 100%, 73% is used to generate steam. Then amount of heat carried by flue gases is 3376.3 divided by heat supplied is 38,000 into 100. On simplification, we get this as 8.88%. Out of 100%, 8.88% is carried by flue gases. Then moisture also carries heat along with it in the flue gases. So Q3 is 3632.06 divided by 38,000 into 100. This gives 9.55%. Then amount of heat loss due to incomplete combustion is given as 2226.5 divided by 38,000 into 100, which works out to be 5.85%. So unaccounted heat lost is 887.54 divided by 38,000 into 100. So this gives us 2.33% of heat is unaccounted. So if we add this percentage 73%, 8%, 9%, 5%, 2%, this will have to work about 100%. So if we want to make the tally 73.66 plus 8.88 plus 9.55 plus 5.85 plus 2.33. So 85 plus 3, 88 plus 5, 13 plus 8, 21 plus 6, 21 plus 6, 27, 7, carry 2, 10 plus 3, 13 plus 5, 18, 18 plus 8, 18 plus 8, 26 plus 6, 26 plus 6, 32, 2 carry 3, 7 plus 3, 10, 10 plus 9, 19, 19 plus 8, 27 plus 3, 27 plus 3, 30, 0 0.10, 100.27%. There is some little bit error there will be. So this is 100%, approximately equal to 100%. Amount of heat supplied is 100% is utilized in various sections or various purposes. 73.36% is used to generate steam, and 8.88% is carried by hot gases, 9.5% is carried by steam in the flue gases, and 5.85% is lost due to incomplete combustion, and 2.33% is unaccounted. So this is how we have to find out heat balance sheet. Thank you.